All right, joining me at this time, making her return to Triple Threat Wrestling Radio, Shawna Reed is joining me right now. How's it going, Shawn?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being on the show on such notice. Truly appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So we're gonna definitely get into the Girlfight Wrestling show that you will be a part of tomorrow, Cinco de Mayo days. Um, that's tomorrow at Expo 5. It's a free show. But I like to look at social media like everybody else. I'm sure you do as well. Uh,
Yeah.
and you've had a busy couple of days, Miss Shauna Reed, and at Las Vegas, nonetheless. So let's talk about these past couple of days. And just talk about the experience just being in Las Vegas.
Well, it was awesome. I just walked in the door, like, not even 10 minutes ago from, like, landing. Um, but, like, I mean, it was always on my bucket list, so it was very, very cool, and it was definitely everything I thought it would be and more. It was even more awesome being able to perform on the Cauliflower Alley show out there in front of people, I used to watch when I was little, and like legends and stuff like that are seeing me wrestle, which was so cool. And then I think the overall part of it was just getting to really hang out with my trainer and a few of the other trainee, like my brothers, pretty much. That whole experience just hanging out with them was amazing. So it was like a first real long vacation that was completely surrounded around wrestling. So it was very cool.
In addition, you got a chance to meet the legendary Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, and good old
Yeah.
JR Jim Ross. You mentioned in one of your posts that, you got a chance to see some family members for the first time in a decade. So what was that reunion like?
It was crazy because I didn't even know they lived in Las Vegas, to be completely honest with you, because the first time I feel like the last time I saw them I was very young. Like, I mean, I'm only 23, and I think probably the last time I saw them was when I was 9 or 10, so it was a little bit over a decade. Um and so basically, like, I saw it on a post on my Facebook that they said that they were going to try and make it out, but a lot of people say that, oh, they're going to try and come to the show and don't come, so I didn't want to get my hopes up. So I was just in the room, like, getting ready, like, got there at call time. Then all of a sudden, you get tapped on the shoulder and you turn around and there's your cousin and your aunt and your uncle that you haven't seen in like 10 years, and they brought their whole work crew to come watch you wrestle that night. It was crazy. And definitely, like, it was just really weird and eye-opening for me. So it was awesome.
Well, I'm glad that you have fun. Las Vegas can be a very tempting city for obvious reasons. There could be
Oh yeah.
so much distractions, and
Oh yeah.
you had the will to avoid those distractions, and you did what you do, and you are back on the East Coast, or in this case, the Midwest. So let's get into the main reason why I have you on the show as of a day's notice. So there's a show coming tomorrow night on Cinco de Mayo of all days, called Girlfight Wrestling, and you are going to be a part of that event. You are going to be in a match, and talk about Girlfight Wrestling and what's it feel like to. This is going to be your Kentucky debut, I believe, correct?
No, I wrestled for Girl Fight about a year ago at the Gathering of the Jugglers. So that wasn't in Kentucky. Um, I mean, I wrestle every Sunday in Jeffersonville, Indiana, which is like right across like the bridge into Louisville. So I kind of been counting that as Kentucky. Um, but I guess, like, if you actually count, like, I guess in legit in Kentucky, I guess that will be my debut in Kentucky.
Okay, so I guess for technicality, I guess we're gonna call that Northern Kentucky.
Yeah.
I've been to Jeffersonville, Indiana. I've been to Girlfight shows there in the past, and some of my friends went, and I was jealous because they got to take a lot of pictures with the wrestlers. So I was like, I gotta go there. So when I hear that Madman Pondo, which that is his own company, was
Mhm.
finally bringing Girlfight Wrestling to Kentucky, I was like, about damn time. And I've now been to the last two Kentucky shows. The first at Louisville and the one at Georgetown, and now this is the third Girlfight show in Kentucky. It's going to be at Expo 5, and I was talking to a fellow wrestler from your neck of the woods who's also going to be there. There's plenty of Ohio going to be representing. There's you, there's Jocelyn Navarro, there's Hardcore Heather Owens. You've had some matches with her in the past. So I said this to her, and I will say this to you, to all the listeners that may be listening. Now, we all fans of professional wrestling. We like to be proud of supporting professional wrestling, or in this case, the indies and women's wrestling.
Mhm.
So people have complained about the prices for indie wrestling shows, which is a lot cheap, and there could be a lot of quality into the shows. But when WWE goes on sale, you are in front of line buying those expensive tickets. So
Yeah.
this show tomorrow night, which I will be driving from Lexington to Louisville. That's about an hour plus ride, a drive for that matter. So there's no excuse for people to make this complainings and stuff if you don't even show up to this show, which is a absolutely free show. Just show up.
Exactly.
Just show up and support these lovely ladies and what they do, and they're going to bring it. So no excuse if you say, "Oh, indie wrestling costs so much," and yet you spend money for these other pro companies, and you don't go to this show. You don't go to a free show, woman wrestling at its finest. I don't know what to say to people. I don't know what to say to people, Shawna. I don't know what to say. But
Yeah.
so I think they've already confirmed the matchups, and I see you're going up against Demeter D Rose. You gonna be
Dementia.
Dementia D Rose. Uh,
Mhm.
so I mean, what's your mindset? Getting ready for this match against Miss D Rose.
Well, she's definitely bigger than me, so I've kind of been, trying to I've been watching her videos. Whenever I find out who my opponent is, I always watch and see what they do and what I can do to try and avoid that. I've seen her in person once. I've never actually gotten to wrestle her. So, I mean, I've got a few tricks up my sleeve, so we'll just see if they work tomorrow.
In addition to the card, you have Girl Fight champion Mickey Knuckles, former TNA knockout, AJ Pereira, Haley Shadows, Kelly for OVW. Let's see, Jocelyn Navarro, Hardcore Heather Orange, yourself, Aliza Maria, and Alita Ortiz. So all over the tri-state, it is a free show on the eve of Kentucky Derby. So if you are already going to be at Louisville for the whole weekend and you're looking for something to do on a Friday night on the eve of the Derby, this is the place to go. And to make things even more interesting, first 20 to get to the arena will get free Kit Kat bars.
Exactly.
Free.
That's but better than that.
I mean, this is quite a ploy. But hey, props to Pondo, man. He's 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 putting it out there. Um,
Definitely.
so for you, how would you best describe your 2017 thus far as a wrestler, How do you feel about the matches you've had? How do you feel about your performance overall?
2017, even though it's just started, has already been like a crazy year, like, and it's definitely shaping up to be something I'm hoping a lot bigger towards the end of it. When you start out 2017 with your second WWE extra cast call, which was awesome. I got that second one in February. And then, I've been traveling every single weekend, and now I just performed on the Cauliflower Alley show in front of a whole bunch of legends. And it's definitely been like a crazy whirlwind, and I'm hoping it just keeps going to the top. I've definitely gotten to show my skill more of wrestling guys, too. Like, I've been wrestling a lot of mixed gender matches, so I'm definitely showing that I'm not just, someone who isn't, like, who will only do girl-girl matches. I'm showing that I'm tough as a guy, so I'm liking that, how my reputation's getting there, too. So definitely 2017 is good so far, and I'm hoping it just continues.
So, I really haven't asked much to the woman that I've interviewed in the past about intergender wrestling. That there's plenty of it on the indie scene. There's not much of it on the pro wrestling scene. Maybe back in the Attitude Era days, maybe back in the day, but that doesn't appear to be the case now. Like for your perspective as a wrestler, as a female going up against a man, like I mean, how do you feel about it overall? Is this something that you see yourself doing more? Like, is there anything? Do you plan things differently going up against a male compared to going up against a female? Like, what's your take on intergender wrestling overall?
I love intergender wrestling. I mean, that's just me, though, because I've been in the matches. But I'm so used to wrestling guys because every Monday and Tuesday I wrestle at Cody Hawk's training camp, and I'm the only girl, and it's been that way for 2 years. So I'm kind of used to it. But you definitely have to, like, look at the match differently when it's a girl going against a guy, because half the time the guy is either A, going to just be like, this is a joke, like, I'm just going to go out there and she might as well just lay down and let me pin her. But you, as the woman, have to go out there and be like, I'm tough enough to beat this guy. I'm tough enough to hang with this guy. I'm faster than this guy, and I'm about to go show him up and prove the fans that are already like, oh, this is just a simple match. Like, he's definitely got it. So it's fun to, like, kind of surprise fans and be like, nope, he doesn't got it. I do. So.
So, I mean, I'm all for it. I'm all from a competitive standpoint, to see how the styles, match up, if you will. And it's I guess I maybe want to see it more on the pro scene, but I guess business-wise, it's something that they don't look into doing. But on the indie scene, like, you know, I like how they're trying to do some different stuff compared to what you're
Yeah.
used to seeing. So as long as the woman, as long as both sides are willing to go for it and compete, and at the end of the day, in the crowd, then go for it. There's
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, your job is to go out there and perform, regardless of who's facing who. So
Exactly.
you got to do what you got to do. So you got this nickname. I think it's called a stubborn angel. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's let's talk about this nickname. Like, how did that came about?
Basically because I have this buddy of mine, and we always used to work out together, and whenever I would actually get an injury while training, or I'd be sick or anything like that, I would refuse to get out of the ring. I would want to continue training. I'd want to continue working out. I'd push through being sick, just to go to training. And one time I really hurt myself to the point like where I could barely lift my arm, and I needed to be out for a little bit, and I refused to. And so him and my trainer and all of them, like sat me down, like, you need, like, even, he's like, everybody needs to rest kind of situation. I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to. I'm stubborn. And he's like, and they're like, yeah, you are. I'm like, oh, but you guys love me because you guys love me. I'm like this perfect little angel. And they're like, yeah, stubborn angel. And then it's pretty much just kind of stuck.
That's very interesting. Uh, you know, I can respect that. From an athlete standpoint, you really want to show people that, hey, I want to do this. I want to go through this. You know, wrestlers, they have bumps and bruises. There's a difference. And I hear this all the time. There's the difference between being hurt and being injured. Injured means you barely can move. Like you could do little to nothing. But being hurt, like if you still can be able to move around and do some of the things that you're known for doing, I mean, you keep going, I guess. Uh, Now last thing that any athlete needs is a severe injury, you know, because this is your livelihood. This is something that you love to do. This is what you're passionate about. And stubbornness can come with the territory, you know.
Mhm.
So, that I guess it fits. It fits. Uh,
Yep.
so you got two different attires. You got the blue attire, you got the red attire. Uh, do you make your own attire, or do someone else do that for you?
Those two gear was made by TNT Gear. I just joined the Five Most Wanted. Um, so I made that gear, which is just like a black shirt with our logo on it and gold tights. But yeah, the blue and the red were made by TNT Gear.
Awesome, awesome. The gear looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's got your name on it too. So that's real
Yep.
nice. Um, Now, Shawna, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. Truly appreciate it. I'm looking forward to finally getting a chance to meet you. And you've had a very long several days, including today. You just got home. So again, on a day's notice, nonetheless, thank you so much for being on the show. And I will see you tomorrow evening. It's with Girlfight Wrestling Expo 5. You can look at the poster on Facebook for all the details of the addresses and stuff. It is a free show, so Kentucky Derby weekend will be a real good way to start off by going to Girlfight, support women's wrestling, support independent wrestling, and check out this show tomorrow night. Thank you for your time, Shawna. Continued success, and you have a good night. Have a good evening, and may the 4th be with you. Just
You too. Thanks so much for having me. I'll see you tomorrow.
all right. You have a good night.
You too.
Bye bye.